Hello boys and girls, Dugs and Dickheads, Small Sunners and Monsunnies. It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and today guys we're going to be talking about the Seltas Queen, one of my favorite monsters of all time, truth be told. Now the Seltas Queen got her debut in the 4th generation. This is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It is still technically a 4th generation game, or 4th generation game. It actually got its debut in Monster Hunter 4. And for the most part, we've probably first seen it in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Regardless, it's still the same monster then as it is now, essentially. So for the most part, if you remember fighting it there, it's kind of the same here. But for those who haven't fought it, let's talk about the Seltas Queen quite briefly. Now, the Seltas Queen is a very big, oh gosh, they have a name for it. It begins like what, Neo something or whatever, but for the most part, it's a giant bug. Now, if you guys ever seen the Seltas, this is the queen to that. Now the Seltas is the male, a much smaller monster than the Seltas Queen. The Seltas Queen is actually quite large, and the Seltas Queen actually uses pheromones to attract males, just any particular male in the level. If you kill a male, she can use more pheromones to attract another male. Now they form together literally like Voltron and work together to make the best of beating you upside your head. Now what I mean by that is, once you let off these pheromones, the Seltas Queen innately cannot fly, but the Seltas can. The Seltas will latch onto the Seltas Queen's back, giving Seltas Queen an ability to fly. Now, to make matters worse, this affects how you actually fight this monster in the game. So, if you lay down a pitfall trap, and the Seltas Queen actually has the Seltas attached to it, the Seltas will pick the Seltas Queen up out of the trap, making your trap void. So remember to kind of look at the way the Seltas actually interacts with the Seltas Queen. He actually also acts as a turret of some sort. He will shoot stamina draining, that's the word, I almost said stamina draining balls at you, balls of saliva, I guess you could say, something from his innards. It's an internal sort, but he will shoot these at you, causing a bit of damage, and for the most part draining your stamina. Can be a bit of annoying, well, can be rather a bit of a nuisance. So a lot of people tend to actually kill the Seltas early and then deal damage to the Queen, and whenever the Queen summons a new Seltas, kill that Seltas again. Granted, it's kind of easy to do because Seltas himself doesn't have a lot of HP, but the Seltas Queen actually does. So with that out the way, let's talk about a little bit of the weaknesses and things like that when it comes to fighting the Seltas Queen. Seltas Queen is more susceptible to fire than any other element in the game. However, one thing that should really be noted is Seltas Queen has a very large resistance to that of Dragon. So if you're using Dragon weapons like myself in this video here, you shouldn't do. I don't know why I did it in here. You really shouldn't bring Dragon weapons when it comes to fighting Seltas Queen. Then again, you really shouldn't bring Dragon weapons to come fight any bug monsters, because the bug monsters in Monster Hunter have an innate ability to actually have a high resistance to Dragon. So remember that when it goes to fighting other bug monsters throughout the series. Anyway, the main area in which you want to hit when fighting Seltas is her head. Now she has a massive, and I really mean this, massive weak spot to her head. Thing is, it's kind of hard to hit because she has a little feelers in front of her face kind of guarding it. Granted, if you kind of can break through those, because those can be broken as well, break those, the forelegs, and do lots of damage to her head, you will bring her down very quickly. It's a massive hit zone. The thing is, it's actually a bit difficult to actually approach Seltas Queen from the front, due in part that she's actually blocking her face a little bit, and if she actually has the Seltas on top of her, making the approach from the front a bit difficult because, like I said, he does shoot these little turrets at you as well. Now, outside of those particular ways to actually fight the Seltas Queen, the one thing you really should understand about Seltas Queen is that she hits very, very, very hard. Now, she is coupled back with her slow speed. She actually has a very, very slow walk speed. Most of her attacks take a while to actually wind up and actually come out. Granted though, if you do get hit with them, you're probably, if your defense isn't actually looking quite nice, might be looking at a cart. Now, for the most part, when you go to fight the Seltas Queen, approach it from the back. Yes, I said the weak spot is the head, but odds are you're not going to really find too many options to actually allow you to come into the front of the monster and hit it from that direction. If you actually if you actually can get the monster to sit still using a trap or paralysis, maybe even sleeping and then bombing its face, that was actually a very, very good way to do damage to the Seltas Queen in her most weakest of spots. So honestly, with that being said, the Seltas Queen is a very difficult fight. Truth be told, I'm not even going to sit here in front of you guys. It's pretty difficult because she hits so hard, and a lot of things that she can do is pretty varied. She can summon the Seltas and have the pheromones actually act as a means to stench you, making it harder for you to actually heal your body unless you use deodorant and the like. But another thing that makes her hard to actually fight is, on top of the fact that she hits very hard, a lot of her attacks cover a wider range of her body. She will sling her body in a multitude of different angles to actually attack you from any angle you just so happen to seem to attack her from. Again, coupled with the Seltas, he's ever vigilant on top of her head, doing damage to you then and there. Granted, as a last ditch effort, the Seltas Queen will take the Seltas that's perched on top of her head and throw him at you, instantly killing the Seltas but doing great amount of damage to yourself. Now, to get her to do this is actually quite rare. I've only seen her do it to me maybe once or twice out of all my years of even fighting the Seltas Queen. It's a rare occurrence, but it is a thing nevertheless. If you do get hit with it, odds are you might, because you're like, what is it doing? She will do this. She will do this to kill you in a last-ditch effort. So if by chance you do see this, please run out of the way. It hurts quite a bit. But with that being said, everyone, that's not all I can say. I completely skipped the gear. Let's talk gear. Now, do you remember when I said Seltas and Seltas Queen form together like Voltron? That was more so me saying they come together and work together, but their armor actually looks like giant robot mega armor from like an anime or something like that. Voltron, Gundams, you name it, whatever. But the coolest thing about this armor is that it's actually geared towards, you can split the difference, Charge Blade users or Gunlance users. I'm a Gunlance user, so I love using the Seltas armor. It's actually very good Gunlance armor, probably one of the best Gunlance armors in all of Monster Hunter without adding any other skills. Steel Urigan takes the cake on this one though, but I will talk about him much later in a different video many years from now. Regardless, she has two variants of her armor, High and G. Her high rank armor is very straightforward. It gives you sharpness, well, let's use the names we all know, Razor Sharp, Artillery +2, and Hero Shield. Now, Hero Shield is a pretty cool skill. Hero Shield is a skill that, if anything, you have to have nice defense in order for it to work super well. But in a nutshell, what Hero Shield does is, if an attack is going to do tiny, small amounts of damage to you, it will not affect you whatsoever. So a good example of this is, let's say you're fighting a monster and then there's like a Jaggy in the corner somewhere. Normally the Jaggy would hit you, probably cause you to flinch, maybe take that last HP away from you, actually carding you. This has happened to me twice. Fighting Raytheon, got tail flipped, Jaggy walked over, touched me once, killed me. Anyway, this will negate that attack altogether. You'll know when it actually takes effect when you see the shiny effect off your body. Now, the G-Rank version of this armor is the exact same thing. All it does is actually add guard +1, that is. Lastly, before we run out of time here, her weapons, they're actually pretty solid, usually all water. Some of them actually give you high points to defense as an added bonus. Granted, the raw on these weapons are pretty middle of the road, 290, 300, pretty decent amount of white for the most part. Some weapons have less white than others, but pretty average weapons when it comes to water. So with nothing truthfully stellar, her weapons are kind of okay, decent if anything, but her gear, if you're a Gunlance user or a Charge Blade user, worth checking out. But with that being said, for real this time, it's been your boy. Take care.